Dear friends, welcome to Book Talk. Our title for today is Lajja, written by Taslima Nasrin. We all know Taslima Nasrin. Yet, let me introduce her to you briefly. She is an award-winning Bangladeshi writer. In fact, her descent is Bangladesh, and also a human rights activist. She is also known for her passionate writings on the oppression of women and criticism of religious fundamentalism. She was born in Mymensingh in Bangladesh in 1962. She started writing at the age of 14 and was acclaimed as a major writer in Dhaka in her late 20s. Her writings also became popular across the border in West Bengal when she won the prestigious Anand Purushkar in 1992 and then again in 2000. After being forced to leave Bangladesh in 1994, Taslima has lived in India, Europe, and also the United States. She has written more than 30 books, including poetry, essays, novels, and memoir. Her works have been translated into over 20 Indian and European languages. So she's quite a well-acclaimed personality. Taslima detests fundamentalism and communalism. This was the reason why she wrote Lajja soon after the demolition of Babri Masjid in Ayodhya on 6th December 1992. She says the book took her some 7 days to write and deals with the persecution of Hindus, a religious minority in Bangladesh, by the Muslims who were in majority. She says, "It is disgraceful that the Hindus in my country were hunted by the Muslims after the destruction of Babri Masjid. All of us who love Bangladesh should feel ashamed that such a terrible thing could happen in our beautiful country. The riots that took place in 1992 in Bangladesh are the responsibility of us all, and we are all to blame. Lajja is a document of our collective defeat." So this is what she has to say about this particular book and what went around in Bangladesh. Lajja was first published in February 1993 in Bangladesh, and it sold over 60,000 copies before it was banned. It even earned her a bounty on her head from Islamic fundamentalists, and that forced her to flee the country. Lajja is not only an invaluable historical document, but also a text whose relevance has unfortunately not diminished in the 2 decades it was published. The novel's central concern is the evil of communalism that continues to plague the subcontinent, erupting from time to time like a dormant volcano. It chronicles the terrifying disintegration of a Hindu family living in Bangladesh in the aftermath of the riots that break out to avenge the destruction of the mosque in India. Hundreds of temples across Bangladesh are ground to dust or desecrated. Hindu men are butchered, women raped, houses burned to cinders, and property confiscated. Nasrin brings out the sufferings inflicted on the minority community through the trials faced by Sudhamoy Datta, an upright physician who had fought in the Liberation War of 1971 at immense personal cost along with his family. The Dattas, as Nasrin reveals, are divided on the question of staying on in the land they have always thought of as their home. Their ancestral seat in the village once thriving and prosperous, has been usurped by their Muslim neighbors, forcing them to seek refuge in a rented house in Dhaka. However, Sudhamoy stubbornly, desperately, and naively holds on to his faith in the inherent goodness of fellow human beings. Even at a time when his allies are turning against his family, his son Suranjan is more vulnerable to the circumstances, like his father. Suranjan refuses to run away from the country of his birth or give in to communal sentiments he had condemned all his life. But his feelings began to shift after a terrible tragedy visits the family. Sudha Moy's wife Kiran Moy and daughter Maya are far less squeamish about making an exodus to India for the sake of their lives and dignity. But then the women, as Nasrin insinuates, are but pawns in the hands of their men. Maya's prayer for security is beggared by the lofty ideals of her indifferent, irresponsible, vagabond brother who remains unemployed for the simple reason that he refuses to take orders from anyone. Kiran Moy nurses a deep, intimate pain, sacrificing every chance of happiness for the sake of her husband's unshakable resolve to remain rooted to the land of his birth, even as the consequences of his choice are horrible. While focused on the plight of the persecuted, Nasrin's plot never departs from an area of moral discomfort, never pitting one community against the other or shying away from showing up the prejudices that infiltrate the minds of both Hindus and Muslims. So she's written the book very well, and she's gone into very detailed descriptions about what all has happened. And I must say she has done an extremely good job there. Yet in spite of its sustained ethical complexity, Lajja is not a literary masterpiece. Nasrin's plot is interrupted by long roll calls of damages and killings every few pages, frequent discourses on politics and power also slow down the pace of the book, and the subplots, especially related to Suranjan's jilted romantic life with a girl called Parveen, perhaps deserved more attention. But considering that she wrote this entire book in 7 days, I must say it was a brilliant effort. Though Lajja is the story of the Dattas, they are reverted to the background, and the newspaper reports and eyewitness accounts with facts and figures about the number of people killed, temples destroyed, properties looted, and women raped becomes the mainstay and main theme of the book. This intermingling of numerous statistical data with a fictional plot is done with such subtleness and so seamlessly that it becomes a part of the story. So this is what I'm trying to say, is that she's brought in all this data and she has mixed it up with the plot in a very nice manner that it gels very well and goes with the flow of the book. The data is not just parroted in the book. It comes as a dialogue from anxious Bengalis living in fear of their lives. And this is what adds life to these numbers. It makes you realize the enormity and graveness of the situation and sympathize with the victims. In the ultimate, the story ends as a tragedy when Maya, who is Suranjan's sister, and Kiran Moy and Siddha Moy's daughter, is at a point of no return. Finally, Sudha Moy agrees to the long-drawn suggestion of his son, Suranjan, to move to India. Secular was supposed to be, this is one point I really liked about the book, this one sentence. Secular was supposed to be one of the strong beliefs of the Bengali Muslim, especially during the War of Independence, when everyone had to cooperate with one another to win a victory. But now the spirit had not only dwindled, but had exhausted completely. If you've not read the book, you've indeed missed an endemic viewpoint of life. I would give the book 8 out of 10. With this, I end my show today. Goodbye till we meet again. Thank you.